Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to the channel. There is this fiasco that happened a few weeks ago where this app, the T app, that women have used to trace the happenings of the men that they are dating. Now, it was hacked, and a number of images and messages that were sent by these women were leaked. But then it happened again. So we are going to react to this video that is going to give us more information, and I'll give my commentary as usual.
Destroyed his life by creating an app that this app creator just destroyed his life by creating an app that promised to protect women from dating horrible men, but it ended up allowing their private information to be leaked all over the internet, including sites like 4chan, and he's now been hit with 6 federal lawsuits.
An app designed to let women safely discuss men they date has been hacked. The app T said today about 72,000 images have been leaked online, including pictures, photo IDs of users that were submitted during account verification process.
I need you to listen to the framing that the app was there for women's safety. The truth is, these women were doxing men. A lot of them were using it to get back at men that they had broken up with or who didn't want them. And it was used to smear these men. So while the initial idea could be called noble, what it was actually used for was far from that.
Before we go any further into the story, we need to understand what this app does and why it was created. So you have this app called T, and it's described as the Yelp for dating. This site allowed women to, avoid terrifying online dating experiences by posting photos of men and seeing if anyone else had the same bad experience with the same man.
T had marketed itself as sort of like Yelp, but for dating. So instead of reviewing a service, you were reviewing an actual guy that you had gone out with. But the concern here was that you had a lot of guys who often frequent a ton of dating apps at once, and they're committing kind of the same offenses, sometimes being creepy, but sometimes being dangerous or violent with women. And word doesn't get out to enough women at the time because these guys are on so many different websites, right? So the idea that the T was saying was like, don't worry, this will be a central place, not a dating app. This is more of like a research app.
Gee, I wonder what could go wrong. But it's said to be influenced by Facebook pages like Are We Dating the Same Guy? A good example of this would be a 27-year-old woman who became skeptical of her partner. She was recommended the Facebook page by close friends, only to find out he'd been posted about in a negative light by like 10 different women. So in theory, this gives women a form of protection to help them avoid bad experiences with men they're going on dates with or men they've already been in relationships with. And while I can definitely see this app could be used for good, I can also see, wow, this app could also be used for harassment. But unfortunately,
this is actually one of its main side effects, in that I don't think I need to tell you about how quite venomous a woman can be when maybe she doesn't like you anymore or she wants to get back at you for one reason or the other. I don't need to explain to most of you who had these experiences. So we've also seen a lot of false claims online by women who've been slighted by men. So obviously such an app will be a good opportunity for this to continue festering.
Fortunately, that's not even the app's biggest problem because recently the app was hacked. According to the media, passport information, driver's license, and full names of the women all across North America were leaked. But was it actually hacked or was it just coded extremely poorly? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing today. So for some backstory for you, T was founded by Sean Cook in 2023 after he witnessed his mother's terrifying online dating experience. Apparently, she was being catfished over and over again and was unknowingly talking to men with criminal records.
And this is something I find so unique, or should I say, very different with the perception they want to sell to people, is that women actually want these good men, responsible men, whatnot. But more often than not, by the time these men want a good guy, they've actually sought out some of the worst men around, the bottom feeders. And of course, when you're dealing with bottom feeders, you expect that they'll treat you badly. And they get treated badly repeatedly by several men before they realize they probably need security and somebody who's more responsible or things like that. But these responsible men do not excite them. So more often than not, They get to these men, then what happens? They leave them. They take their money more often than not, and at least break up the family. The kids get disturbed. The stable environment required for them to be raised properly is broken up. So there are all these red flags, as it were. I'm on my crusade against marriage.
How did this app help with this problem? Well, this app allowed women to post the man's first name, age, location, and other women on the site could share their experiences and share whether the man was a potentially good or bad person, using the terms red flag or green flag. And early users of the app had to verify with a form of KYC, meaning they had to upload a photo of themselves and a ID, so government ID and a selfie of themselves to verify their age and gender. This is because the T app was a woman-only platform. The uploading your identification feature was later removed at the end of 2023 and changed to simply allow you to upload a photo of your face on the app. In their terms of service, they promised that these images would be instantly removed as soon as the verification process finished. Well, apparently that didn't happen. This may not seem important now, but trust me, it plays a massive role later on in the video, because
The thing is, almost all companies will tell you they've deleted your data when you ask for that to happen. But the truth is, they don't. They need that data for their services and many other reasons. So I think you'd be naive to think that once you put something on the internet, then it can be actually be deleted forever. I think everything can be found back up if it's required.
every single user that signed up at the time just had their personal information leaked online. The T app suddenly went viral in 2025, reaching #1 in the App Store, with a total of over 4 million women across America using the app. And this is a surge that was fueled mostly by TikTok and media coverage. And I mean, it's a solid concept, so there was no doubt that it was going to go viral. But here's where things start getting a little bit sketchy and the cracks start to show. Even before the so-called hack or leak online, the app was drawing a lot of controversy over privacy, defamation, and people's overall opinion of the app. Online critics explained that the anonymous posting about men could lead to false accusations and even doxing. There's also been a bunch of TikToks that suggest that someone may have ended their lives because of this app. But
Now, whether that is true or not, there is obvious damage if somebody decided to use that app to defame you or spread lies about you for all types of reasons. So, some of these things, in my opinion, is people trying to pass off their responsibilities to be careful, to actually do some research and find out the kind of person that you want to date or have children with or marry. And this, by the way, works both ways. A lot of men are marrying bottom feeder women, and they are shocked when these women turn them inside out. So this kind of scenario would be avoided, of course, if you had a good network of friends and family who can do some of that lifting for you, because that's how it used to be. Because many people will vouch for someone before you actually get involved with them. And there's no really a better, how do we say, there isn't a better system. And maybe they're trying to replicate it with this, but we also understand that people have become very malicious.
we found no information to actually verify that this is true. We just have a bunch of different TikToks talking about knowing of men that did that because of this app. And honestly, if you have a app that's designed to anonymously trash talk people, it's not super far-fetched that that would happen. But I can see how this is two-sided, because you have one side that says, yeah, this is good. This potentially stops terrible men ruining women's lives. But then you also have to realize that there's this other side that points out that men are having their photos and information posted online without their consent, and that can lead to harassment because there's no guarantee that the information being shared about this man is even true.
Do you know the weirdest thing that I found out about this app? Is that there are women who are actually using it to try to get with the men who have been found there to have the worst kind of reputations. It's the weirdest kind of thing. And they are so proudly posting it there, talking about, oh, how they would love to have this or that. I'll post some of those messages here for context. And you see, it is not about whether they want to find out if somebody is bad, but whether or not they care that somebody is bad. And that normally they don't, as long as it ticks the right boxes, if you know what I mean.
classic argument of what if men had an app where they took non-consenting women, they talked about how ugly they were, they talked about how many people they slept with, don't ever consider this person as a partner, they've slept with 5 other people or something like that, right? And they called them psychos on this app, etc., etc. They made up stories about it. Obviously, instantly would be banned, wiped off the face of the earth, most misogynistic app ever, etc., etc. And obviously, it doesn't make it okay when women do it either.
But this isn't even half of it, because as I mentioned previously, the app reached #1 on the App Store. And well, only a few days later, they experienced a massive data breach in which 72,000 images, including driver's license and faces of the early users from 2023 to 2024, those images, they were scraped off the web and just dumped onto 4chan. And the media referred to this as a massive hack.
Hackers gained access to 72,000 photos, including users' selfies and photo IDs. T's parent company says more than 4 million women use the app.
But from the information we've seen online, it doesn't seem like this was the case. It doesn't even look like a hack happened. It looked like it was just built so poorly that any random person could access all of this private information. This app might have actually been vibe coded. So for the people who don't know what vibe coded is, it means the app was coded using AI and that there was no real professional development whatsoever. Now, do we have proof of that? No. But according to the internet, it seems poorly made.
The thing is, though, that's the thing with AI at the moment. You actually have to have some coding background to be able to use it effectively. It is not totally without faults right now. So if you're trying to code, for those who code and whatnot, it will give you a leg up. It will make your work faster. It will help you to troubleshoot better and all that. But you have to have the knowledge to actually code.
I am no computer programmer, so I have no idea, or I would not be able to identify if it's poorly made or not. But I'm just going off of what the internet is saying now. But it seems like they made no effort to ensure the safety of their users and made a simple drag and drop app. One of the original 4chan users who dumped the database had this to say: if you sent T-App your face and driver's license, they doxed you publicly. No authentication, no nothing. It's a public bucket. And if that went over your head, a public bucket, put simply, just means public online storage, meaning all your information was literally just sitting there for anyone to find. So calling this a hack is kind of laughable because it was already just sitting there. Anyone could grab it.
This is not a hack. And for a lot of people that were looking into this, they had found that, yes, by putting in that URL, you absolutely could find attachment files.
The only thing the 4chan user did was make a script that downloads all the images and data from the public cloud storage.
Now, the thing is this, the reason they're calling it a hack is because they want to divert the attention from their lack of proficiency in securing that data. It helps in terms of public relations and all that, because as it is right now, there are so many women here who could sue them out of existence. I think it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen.
So obviously, this is a massive issue when it comes to security and privacy. So with that, it's fairly obvious that the media went absolute crazy, with even some news coverage defending the app developers, saying this couldn't be helped. And with privacy laws being a lot less strict here in the US, it seems like this narrative has been pushed that like it was a hack and it wasn't a lack of developer oversight.
This whole app is a GDPR nightmare, which is one of the reasons why I think it's only in the United States as of now. If this was an issue in like Europe or Canada, where privacy laws, at least in Europe, are a lot more strict, this would absolutely put the developers of this application in the crosshairs.
But putting the media and narrative aside, the internet wasn't happy. An app designed to promote safety for women literally made women unsafe. And what's even more crazy is the information leak could be used to commit various types of identity fraud. People could realistically use this information to sign up to crypto sites, gambling sites, all sorts of stuff to KYC. Like, this is a nightmare, because like a very real worry you have to have, if your information was leaked in this, you actually have to worry about people registering and signing up for crypto exchanges and withdrawing money through your name. And of course, to make things even worse, 4chan even went as far to use driver's licenses that have been leaked to create a searchable map, which is just absolutely insane. The company literally promised multiple times this data would be deleted instantly, and none of this information would be transferred to their servers. So they're looking at a legal nightmare. And that's exactly what they're facing. But you may be asking, okay, what did the company have to say about the situation? Well, they said at 6:44 PST on the 25th of July, we identify unauthorized access to our systems and immediately launched a full investigation with assistance from external cybersecurity experts to understand the scope of the impact of the incident. Here's what we know at this time. A legacy data storage was compromised, resulting in the unauthorized access to a data set from prior to February 2024. This data set includes approximately 72,000 images, including approximately 13,000 selfies and photo identifications submitted by users during the account verification, and approximately 59,000 images publicly viewable in the app from posts, comments, and images. They also said that no email addresses or phone numbers were accessed. Only users who signed up before February 2024 were affected, which isn't really helping their public image. Oh, we only leaked about 25,000 of you guys. But I would love to say that this response put all the users' minds at ease, but unfortunately not. Because literally just 3 days later, there was a second database breach after a security researcher discovered a vulnerability allowing access to over 1 million direct messages. Meaning this whole, oh, this was just an old database we forgot to delete, that narrative is completely gone now. But the most recent update to all this is the T-App doesn't have one, but 6 pending class action lawsuits filed against them, meaning they could be facing massive financial liabilities with this and their current public image. So things are not looking good for the T-App. So
Now, that is that. Please, you can go and subscribe to Atozi's channel. That's where this video reaction is coming from. And I believe that, in my opinion, because of what this app turned out to be, this is well deserved. I believe that there's been too much malicious actions being taken by women and supporters of women issues and all that to disadvantage men as much as they can. If only these kind of moves were actually good faith moves, because you can see it's a man who made this app. I think on his part, it's just a good business. But he understood why it would be a good business because of the tendency of women to want to do this. And it also really showed us a lot. It keeps on adding evidence as to why you should be more careful with how you date and move around these days. If you're just running out there picking any of these women, by the way, if you go check the selfies, these are not, they're actually not very good looking at all. And most of them are actually quite old. It is not the people who have the options. Actually, this looks like it is just a mother's union sitting around, or ex-wife's union, where they sit around to gossip about the men that they are easily handing themselves over to, because that's what's going on here. They are easy lays for a lot of these vagabond men running around. That's what it is. And we are being given a sneak preview into how the bottom of the barrel looks like when you're talking about dating. Because I actually have to change my mind totally about only talking about one side, while it's obvious both sides of this debate behave atrociously. That's why the results keep getting worse. So, yeah, I don't know what you think about this video. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment about what you think. And until next time, peace.